This is now the 5th week of the electroculture garden, and I do recall a question that I got last time asking concerning these tomatoes right here, if whether or not this side, I believe it was getting more sunlight than the smaller side, the ones where the other tomatoes on this end was shorter. Well, first and foremost, let's just quickly observe what's going on here. From just eyeballing it, of course, there's one tomato plant right here. Highest point up here, girth, not that great. Over here, the one closest to the stake is actually already starting to fruit, which is cool. The faster fruiting was a requisite of mine coming into this. So to answer your question, I was paying attention to the patterns of the sun and where it starts and ends in this garden. And actually today, even just checking one more time, at around 9 o'clock this morning, looking at the garden, this entire tree right here shades out the tomatoes. The first thing that actually gets any sun is gonna be the corn all the way down here against the fence. This corn gets sun first, then it moves out this direction before hitting the tomato bed. In the evening time, of course, or in the afternoon, everything gets hit. So as far as the east end of the tomato bed not getting as much sunlight as the rest, I guess you're right, but it's almost all even throughout the entire day. And I'm glad you posed that question, because it also made me start looking at the corn over here in this bed actually. So my main concern and issue is that I'm starting to see the yellowing on the leaves, and it kind of upsets me. This is the north side of the garden, of the corn patch, and my guess was, of course, sunlight as well, but of course in the evening time this is blocking out the south side, so it's getting at least 3 or 4 hours of sunlight directly on it without it, being impeded. So then I was just wondering if it was just a watering issue, because for about 4 or 5 months now, no, about 3 to 4 months now for this garden season, I haven't had a hose. I've been watering everything literally by hand with, watering can, making trips back and forth from the house with a 2.5 gallon watering can and just coming down and one section, the next section. Do it like 4 or 5 times for an entire row, come back, do it into another lap again. Get the corn some days, I might not get the corn other days. I didn't want to overwater certain plants, so some of them I kind of just let the soil breathe a bit, which I believe should be a natural process instead of watering it every single day. Just let the soil, do what it does, because roots need to breathe. So I didn't water it every single day, and I kind of got to a point where I thought maybe because I wasn't watering the corn every single day, that's why it started yellowing. Since getting the hose, things have been rejuvenating here. Even just noticing that Jesus, I know what they are. The tops of them, just going with that word right now. The tops of them even started sprouting up right after getting the hose and starting to water. And also, this is a great thing. Not part of the electroculture garden, I know, but I had to make mention of it. The watermelon that I've been having was struggling for the longest time ever. And it wasn't until after I got the hose that they really started taking off. Of course, watermelon, you need to get a lot of water, especially in this one. This one literally been in this state for 4, maybe 5 weeks. The other one's starting to take off, and that is lamb's quarter, so that's gonna get pulled. But as far as other observations for now the 5th week, strawberry bed is starting to come to an end. We are now nearing closer to July, so all the June bearing plants are not doing their thing. Again, I gotta get some of these weeds that's been jumping in here. They're healthy, they're doing well. The ones closest to the stake, I don't see much difference from the ones that are in their center. Maybe slightly smaller leaves, but we can bring out a ruler to do an accurate test. But also we got to keep in mind that they're sending out runners, so of course some of them are going to be smaller than others. So got to always keep these factors in mind when doing stuff like this, so I'm not trying to skew results. At this point, the radish bed, here is the stake. The radish bed is just beyond blessed. So of course we got some of these going to flower, going to seed. They're all, because they're pretty crowded actually, a lot of them that are setting up their roots haven't been all that big in size. See some of those? I bet you those are slim. You gotta space these apart a little bit better than what I have them in order to get better fruiting from them. One away from the stake. By like 3 feet, and this one is the one next to it, or the ones next to it. So nothing special for the onions have been applied as far as like ringing them to make them bigger and nothing like that. I know we're trying it over at the house end, but everything's starting to even out. So as far as electroculture playing a part, don't know. And here's a visual of all the corn. Crazy enough, this one is very close to overtaking the first batch. Of course, you can tell this is the second because none of them have their tassels out yet. And even noticing at this end, we got some shorter corn stalks. But as we get closer to the stake, which is roughly somewhere between the first and the second batch, now they all get taller. Is that due to more sunlight? Is that due to unequal watering? I don't think so, because I know I water all the corn pretty evenly when I do it. Now, here's something I've also considered. Maybe, hypothetically speaking, let's say because the plants are now overtaking the rod as far as cramping in on it, it doesn't have space to actually gather and harness whatever it needs in order to send it down into the ground so that the plant does what it needs to do. Is that a factor? Don't know. So again, you're gonna hear me say I don't know quite a bit when it comes to all this, because this is experimentation. This is me watching. This is me observing what's taking place in the garden. So any results that you see, if you want to copy it, it's as easy as going to Amazon, buying one of those steak things. Doesn't matter which one, really. At least I don't think that it does. And testing it out for yourself. So again, this is week 5. I will go ahead and make another week. Maybe I'll go up to 8 weeks. I kind of thought I was going to do the entire garden season. If I should or not, I don't know, because at this point I'm starting not to see any differences. I don't know. I'll probably keep going. Maybe to week 6 or 8, maybe 12, just to see where everything is coming along at. So in case you were wondering, because now after just completing what I thought that was the end of the video, going back to the tomato bed, because I literally just filmed it, didn't think about it. These are all flowering. Only those are fruiting. And all these were planted at the same time. That's just an observation. Maybe the one in the center. Okay. Again, a little bit closer to the stake. That one's in the middle of the bed though, or more like a third of the way in. This one is.